Ladies, gentlemen, this is why you do not jump into relationships so fast. The Perfect Guy. It's a film about a woman who breaks up with her boyfriend and meets a new guy who is possibly too good to be true. And it stars, and sorry if I butcher these names, Sanaa Lathan, Michael Ealy, and Morris Chestnut. And it's directed by David Rosenthal. I went into this movie thinking it was going to be just another kind of cliched movie, which it kind of is. I mean, it's about a girl who falls for a guy who turns out to be a little more creepy, and he's a stalker and all that jazz. I feel like we've seen that a bunch of times. But, you know, that's the movie they wanted to make, and I think they did it really well. This movie was much better than I was expecting it to be. First of all, the acting in it I thought was really believable. I thought everyone played their parts very seriously. None of the characters were very unrealistic in their actions throughout the movie. You know, a lot of times in movies like these, the woman is very kind of stupid, and you think, God, why are you with this guy? Just do this, or just break up with him, or whatever. But in this movie, she's a very reasonable woman, and it's kind of like, you see why she's doing what she's doing, and she does things, you're like, oh, just do this. And then she does it, and you're like, oh, okay, so I guess you're not an idiot. You can also see why she fell for the guy to begin with. I mean, he's a very charming guy. Michael Ealy plays a very good, charismatic, suave guy, and he also plays the creepy stalker dude very well. And he's got those eyes that are just like, "Ugh." That's probably not a good impression. Also, there's a cop in this movie, played by Holt McCallany. I might have butchered that name too. But usually cops in movies like this, they're very like, oh, we can't do anything. There's nothing we can do. But in this movie, he's actually really helpful, and he's like, hey, do this, hey, we're gonna try to help you, boom, you know, and it's kind of like, okay, cool. Considering this is a very cliched movie premise, I don't think the characters themselves are very cliched. None of them really piss you off or anything. Also, I found myself a few times in this movie kind of with some tension. There was a couple scenes where the guy was like stalking her, and I was just kind of like, There's only one scene in this movie that drove me nuts because the whole movie I thought was being portrayed so realistic. This isn't some Michael Myers serial killer. This isn't some swamp monster. This is a real guy, and that's terrifying because the things he's doing you feel like could really happen to somebody and probably have happened to people. But the scene that kind of took me out of the movie, it's like he's Houdini all of a sudden. He's outside of a locked door, there's some tension, and boom, all of a sudden he's like inside behind a girl. And I was just like, okay, when did he turn into Houdini, you know? But that was really the only scene like that. Other than that, the rest of the movie, the way he goes after people, the way they're trying to protect themselves, the way they make decisions, it all seems very realistic and down to earth, which I really appreciated. At the beginning of the movie, you can kind of feel the relationship between her and her boyfriend before she meets the crazy dude. And you can just kind of read the subtext to it. They don't have to explain everything of what their relationship was like. You can really feel it. You know, the director trusts the audience to be smart enough to understand kind of how their relationship was and why it ended. And even that aspect to it seemed very realistic. There's also a lot of relationship cliches in this movie, but not in a movie way, but in a realistic way. The woman, you know, she wants to be married, she wants to have kids. The guy's like, you know, I'm not really ready for that. At a certain point, she's on a rebound and she meets this guy who's really, you know, really charming. So of course she's gonna like the guy, you know. The way he swoos her is realistic. I mean, this happens to women sometimes. They meet a guy who seems a certain way, they seem so charming and amazing, and then they turn out to not be good guys. So in the end, guys, this is a cliched movie premise. There are some cliche themes in it, but the acting and the characters are very realistic and down to earth. There are some tension moments in there. It's a very well-directed movie, and you're gonna be entertained during it. So what are you gonna do with this movie? Go see it at matinee price, because it's just a friends with benefits. And you don't want to go pay full price for it. So guys, just remember, I am a new channel. Please like this video, subscribe, and I should be posting my review for The Visit soon if you want to check that out. If you can handle it, go.